What if I told you being out of a guy's league can be both a good and a bad thing? What if I also told you it's impossible to determine which one is which unless you first know how it presents itself in a relationship? That's exactly why on today's show, we're going to be discussing 6 things guys do when he thinks you're out of his league. That way, when the strange behavior presents itself, you know exactly why it's happening. Some of them will attempt to humble you. So imagine you have the finish line up here, okay? And you guys are both going in this direction, right? You're trying to get towards the race. And in this race, you're in first, right? And he's in second, okay? Now, in the process of this race, as you guys are both heading towards this finish line, and he can see that you're getting very close and you're gonna beat him in this race, he attempts to throw, oh boy, I'm trying to think of how to draw this real nice. I can't draw it real nice, so we're just gonna draw it real bad, okay? It's just gonna look like that. All right, do you guys know what this is? If you know we're talking about Mario Kart, do you know what I'm trying to draw here? So this is a banana peel, okay? I know I can't draw, it's okay. We're still learning here. And the purpose of the banana peel, in all seriousness, is meant to trip you up, okay? It's meant to trip you up so that he can eventually pass you, like they do in Mario Kart. Now, the reason I want to give you this little bit of a visual is because that's what the men who are trying to humble you, when they realize that you're out of their league, are attempting to do. They want to trip you up and stop you from progressing. And I know this might sound really silly. How is he making comments towards me about the things that I'm not, or constantly dissing me? How is that going to stop me from progressing in life? It's going to kind of eat away at your mental. That's what he's trying to do. Because if you start to get a big head and actually believe in your own hype, what might eventually happen if you're truly out of his league is that you might realize that you can do a lot better than him, or you might realize that you deserve a lot better than him. That's not something that a man who's trying to bring you down to his level is going to be doing, especially if it's manifesting itself in a negative way in your relationship. He's trying to humble you to bring you back down to earth, throw a banana peel in front of you so that you don't realize your worth, you don't realize how much you deserve, and you don't realize that he may or may not be treating you the way that you deserve to be treated, or as good as some other men would treat you. And so this becomes a way of tripping you up. Point number 2. This is gonna sound funny. And sometimes I do be making up these terminologies, but I promise you they're actually rooted in something real. Is the praise stomp, okay? I know this sounds pretty funny. You're here with your triangle body, all right, and your skinny legs. If you ever get into a scenario in which people are giving you praise, okay? So for example, a guy comes up to you when you and this guy that you're talking to are at a party. And at this party, this guy says, oh my God, that dress looks amazing on you, right? Or a girl comes up to you at this party and says, girl, where did you get that outfit? It literally fits you like a glove. And this is what will happen when these people are praising you. You'll begin to see yourself, let me try you nice and big here. What you'll see in that mirror after a while is the way that everyone is complimenting you and telling you how amazing that you are. So when you look in that mirror, you're gonna see a princess, okay? That's why you got a little crown there, okay? You're gonna see a princess because that mirror that you're gonna see in your reflection, I'm talking about the emotional mirror, right? The reflection that you're gonna see in that mirror is gonna consist of all the praise that everyone else has been giving you. Let me write it on top here, right? And all of that praise that people have been giving you is gonna cause you to see this really elegant, amazing, beautiful, vibrant person in that mirror. But here's the problem. As you receive that praise, instead of that mirror, right, showing back to you a princess, what he's going to attempt to do is he's going to stomp on that praise anytime he notices you're getting a little bit too much. Similar to humbling you, right? Instead of it being a direct comment towards you, just between you and him, he can't control when other people come across you, notice your beauty, your vibrance, your radiance, your energy, your aura, and they compliment that, right? He can't control that. But what he wants to do is make sure that that praise that other people are giving you doesn't get to go to your head. That you don't start to actually believe in the fact that, oh, other people see me, other people recognize me, and because of that, because of the praise I receive, it builds me up. because I realize how valuable I am. And when I realize how valuable I am, I see a princess in that mirror. But the problem is, if you're out of his league and he wants to continue humbling you, he doesn't want you to see a princess in the mirror. And so all of these people building up your ego, gassing you up, telling you how amazing you are, is going to force you to see a princess in the mirror. And at some point, you might say to yourself, this princess in the mirror does deserve her a prince. So what he wants to do is he wants to stomp on that praise. So when that person comes up to you and that girl comes up to you and says, "Oh my God, girl, where did you get that dress? This is the most amazing dress I've ever seen in my life. The way you wear it, the way you put it on, I've never seen anyone wear a dress like that before." He says, "You should have seen her last night when she had no makeup on and she was eating Cheetos. She didn't look that great then," right? Ha ha ha, isn't that funny? Don't you remember last night you had Cheetos all over your face and it was the orange stuff in the puff and you had it on the remote controller? No, last night, no, she definitely wasn't looking like that. And he'll make a joke out of you. And you'll be thinking to yourself, what type of joke is that? It's not a joke. It's a diss disguised as a joke. That way, instead of you looking in the mirror and seeing a princess, when you look in that mirror, you're gonna see this dusty old peasant. Because anytime someone tries to give you praise, he makes sure to stomp on that praise immediately, like a fire. Point number 3, discouragement. And so what's going to begin to happen when you start trying new things, right? You're going to connect with all of these different people, right? You're going to have friends over here, and you're going to have friends over here, and you're going to have friends over here. And all of these different people in your life will start to represent the way that you want to live your life. You know how they say, if you're hanging out with 4 millionaires, then you're going to be the 5th, right? And the company you keep is, about representative of who you are as a person. It's the same idea here. When you begin to better yourself and better your life, you're going to go to different places that are better, right? And the people you spend time with will be better. You got better people. And the things that you just do in general will be better. You'll have so much more improvement in your life and your quality of life. You'll begin to realize that the only thing that doesn't align with this new web, the only thing on the outskirts is the man. And you'll realize that all of these things in your life are beginning to move in the same direction. They're beginning to have cohesion. But the more they have cohesion and the more this web kind of becomes very clear and obvious to you of who you are and where you're going and what you're trying to be, it'll be a lot more obvious to you that this man is not in line with where you are, where you're going, and where you want to be. That's a problem for the guy who thinks that you're already out of his league. And so what he wants to attempt to do is discourage you from bettering your life too much, from trying too many new things, from going out there and discovering who you are, that you will eventually come to the realization that the person on the outskirts, the person that I don't need, the person that I need to get rid of, is actually the person who was originally the closest to me, whether it be mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, right? It could be as simple as you going to the gym. Let me tell you this, okay, as a little side note. You might think to yourself, oh, my man would love for me to go to the gym and get my dump truck really nice and have a really nice tight body. If I look like some of these girls that he follows on Instagram, he would love that. Some men will love that, okay, for sure. Some men will also respond negatively to that. Because when you start going to the gym and bettering yourself, they're going to realize 2 things. They're going to realize you're eventually going to become really hot. And the hotter you become, the farther away from him you're going to be, especially if he's not going to the gym. And the second thing he's going to realize is as you go to the gym, you're going to start surrounding yourself with healthier people, other people that go to the gym. And if he doesn't go to the gym, well, now what do you think's making him nervous? The fact that some of the men you're going to meet are going to be nice, strong, and buff. They're in the gym. They're lifting 3 plates like me. Going crazy. Okay? What do you think that's going to do to his ego? He's going to start thinking to himself, damn, the only plate I lift up is the one that I eat for dinner. She's over here in the gym meeting men that lift up 3 plates, okay? I'm talking about 3 plates on each side, chat, not 3 plates total. Let's go on to point number 4. Now that we're getting into the second half, we're going to be talking about the more positive ways that this can present itself when a man thinks that you're out of his league, okay? Now, obviously, the word overcompensate doesn't sound very good and doesn't sound very positive, but what I'm talking about when I mean positive from the standpoint of how it manifests itself for you. Let's imagine a scenario in which you're on a show of Survivor, okay? And on this show of Survivor, right, you have all of these different people on your Survivor team. Let's say player one, he's like me. He can squat 4 plates, 3 plates, however many plates, and he's super strong, right? And let's say person number 2 can do the exact same thing. He's really strong too. And person number 3 is a girl, but she's super strong too. They're all strong, right? That's good if you want to lift a couple of boulders, but what happens if all of these players are really strong and it comes time to like do something with directions, or it comes time to like do something that requires a little bit of thinking and planning? If all of them are strong, that's not really going to help anyone. So what's the team do in order to be a good team? If they're going to pick all of these different players, right? What they want to do is delegate responsibility to different strengths. So you want one person who's strong, then you want another person who's smart, then you want another person who's fast, okay? Then you want another person who, let's just say, is good with tools, right? And all of these different skill sets will allow them to combine to make to a really good team. If you're ever in a situation where, let's say for the sake of example, one of these people double, right? So there's 2 smart people and no one that's fast, right? You're gonna have to figure out a way on this team to compensate for the links that are missing, the skill sets that are missing, or else you're not really going to be able to be successful in the challenges that you guys are going to face, especially the ones that require speed, whether it be running or some sort of endurance, right? Your team is going to have to compensate for the skill set that is missing. So you're probably asking me, Tomisin, what does any of this have to do with what we're talking about today about relationships and men who are out, that I'm out of their league? See, when men recognize that you're out of their league, they're going to do the same thing in which they're going to overcompensate, I should say, for the fact that they are below you. And because they're below you, they need to do more for you in order to make up for the fact that they are not on the same level as you. If you were to be in a line of women and he were to be in a line of men, and those people that were judging you were to take in all your character traits, your personality, your looks, and all the stuff about you, more men would flock towards you and choose you than women would flock towards him and choose him. My whole point being is the men will begin to treat you better in their relationship. Some of them, if it's on the opposite sense, when they realize that you're out of his league. Why? Because they need to overcompensate for the fact that you're that much more better than him. And your desirability in the dating market is that much higher than his, okay? So he understands if I don't overcompensate, if I don't put my best foot forward, then I'm probably gonna lose her, because she's going to recognize how much more desirable she is than me and how many suitable partners she has available to her and ready to do what is necessary for her. So if I'm not going to have that same level of desirability in a relationship or in a desirability sense, right, in a dating sense or romance sense, then I have to make sure I make up for the fact that I'm not as desirable as her by overcompensating and doing more for her. Point number 5. So in this scenario where both of you are very angry at each other, you guys get into this argument, and let's just say for the sake of example, he ignores you. If you are already out of his league, that in the process of this argument, if he were to ignore you, that this would end in a breakup. Forgiveness is such an important part of the process if he actually believes that you're out of his league. The reason I say that is because he has to, if we're talking about how this can manifest itself, and you guys are upset at each other and angry at each other and having this argument go on, he's a lot more inclined to forgive you so that you guys can get back together. okay? And the reason that I say that is because if you think about the logic here, if you're already starting off in a position of leverage where you're out of his league, and I'm probably making this really enticing to some of you, you're already in a position of power where you get to determine how things go, and if he doesn't like how those things go, then you will return to your dating market in which you're a very desirable woman and he might not be as desirable as a man. Meaning that if he were to go back to the dating market, there's a less likely chance that he'll get a woman as beautiful, amazing, and awesome as you. And there's a very likely chance that if you go back into the dating market, you'll get a man way better with more money, a bigger schlong, and can lift even more weight than he can. Okay? So the reason I say that is because this can manifest itself in your relationships with a man who is more forgiving of the things that you do. Even when you do make a mistake, even when maybe you're, instead of an argument, you're actually the one in the wrong. I know that this sounds horrible. I'm just giving you the facts. What can happen is he's more inclined to forgive you because he knows the option to ignore you, or let's just even say it's going to sound weird, to stand up for himself as well, right? Could lead to you saying, whoa, 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 whoa. You don't run things around here. You don't run a damn thing around here. If you think you're going to tell me what to do, how to act, how to think, how to walk, how to talk, this ain't going to work. This town ain't big enough for the two of us. And so that process could lead to a breakup if you're so much more out of his league, right? And this is the thing. Sometimes in the relationships that you're going to have with men, they're going to be more inclined to forgive you because you're out of his league. So this can yield you, I know that this sounds horrible, but a whole lot of power in a relationship, because you can find yourself in a position where the guy that you're with is willing to do a lot for you, act on a lot of things for you, to move mountains for you, and willing to forgive you at any sign of trouble or even at the times where you're in the wrong. Let's go on to point number 6. If you go out into the market, right, even though you're just going out, right, whether it be to an event, a party, a house party, whatever, and you're alone, you're going to be like a magnet. A magnet to what? Take a wild guess, chat. You're a magnet to men. Look at you, drawing in all these men. They can't help themselves. They're falling all over you, left and right, okay? All of these hundreds and hundreds of men. I'm sure some of you love that, all right? The reason that I say that is because these men, especially the ones that can recognize that you're out of his league, which guys can recognize if you're out of their league, they will have the desire to tag along with you at every chance they can possibly get. So this man, you're a magnet over here. We're going to put him right in the middle of your circle here. We're going to put in your man. He's going to want to be right on your hip pocket at every chance he gets, because he understands if he allows you to go out by yourself too much, then you'll start recognizing how much attention you can get from men. What's also going to happen in this process, because remember, you're out of his league. What's going to happen in this process as you're attracting all of these different men, some of these men will be really rich, really powerful. They're able to squat 3-4 plates, maybe even 5, right? They're just overall better specimens, better humans, better options than him. And the thing about it is, if you spend a lot of time being beautiful and pretty, but not a lot of time putting yourself out there, and this is a time in your life where you're starting to better yourself and explore more, the more you put yourself out there, even if it's not to date people or meet people that you want to get romantic with, you'll start recognizing how attractive you are to the outside world based on how much you're getting approached by the outside world. And in the process of that, some of these men will be much better partners than your man. But he doesn't want that if he already thinks that you're out of his league. He doesn't want you to realize that there are so many other better options than him. So what is he going to do? He's going to take every chance he can to take work off because he wants to come with you to that party. He wants to, change his shift because he wants to make sure he can go with you to that work event. He wants to tag along with the girlfriends whenever the girlfriends are going out, even though it's supposed to be a girls' night. He wants to be there sitting right next to you, okay? And the reason for that is because he wants to make sure you don't get too many chances to go out and be a magnet to all of these men, some of whom might actually be some really good options. Okay. I know that sounds kind of toxic and I know that sounds kind of strange to like kind of hoard someone like that, but I have to be honest with you because this is a response that some men will give you when they recognize that you are out of their league, as strange as it might sound.